Hello, welcome, and thanks for listening to Crimes of the Basque Lands. Just a note, some of these first episodes were pre-recorded, so if we're talking about things that are about days long ago, or at least months ago, just keep that in mind. For now, we'll be doing a bi-weekly release at the beginning and the middle of the month, and we're aiming eventually to go for weekly releases. Quick content warning. This podcast details crimes and descriptions of violence that may be disturbing or triggering. It may not be suitable for all listeners. We'll do our best to warn listeners about what to expect before each episode and to include them in our show notes.
Hi listeners, just a note on background noises today. You might hear some kids playing and traffic noises. Apologies and enjoy the show.
Watch your back, and a trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, and a trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, there's a crime here. If you're coming from me, it's gonna be gotta wash those red hands. It's the crimes of the Basque Lands. It's the crimes of the Basque Lands.
Hi.
Hey there, Julie. How you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Slightly, my throat's a bit off, so if you hear anything odd, I do apologize in advance.
No apologies needed.
Thank you.
I'll be okay with that.
Good news. We're here for Crimes in the Basque Lands.
Yeah, Crimes of the Basque Lands.
Sorry, one day I'll learn.
Still new. We're still learning the name of our podcast.
Yes, thank you for correcting me. Keeping me on the line.
But, what's it about? What is it about, Douglas?
Well, the title sort of goes there. It's crimes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then Basque Lands, well, we live in a Basque country, Basque. I know a lot of people don't know. It's a tiny little corner of Europe. And, like many different parts of the peninsula, Spain, Portugal, etc., there's been a lot of colonies as well. So we cover crimes by all these people.
Any crimes they committed, we are on the case.
If we can find a bad surname or an excuse to make them bad. We also
take suggestions if anybody hears of any crimes.
Do write in. We've got links in the doobly-doo.
Mm-hmm. What else? Anything? Oh, and basically it's birthed from my love of true crime.
Indeed.
And that's about it.
And that's us.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And we do a little thing, which is what we're drinking today. And today I'm going to be going for Lorea, which is a beer by Boga, Boga. And that's a Biscayan beer. It's a small producer here in Biscaya.
What type is it?
This one is an IPA, American IPA, and the name is Lorea, which means flower in Basque.
Oh, okay. There we go.
And it's got a cute little surf girl on the cover, and it's lovely. It's a beer I drink a lot. Cheers, everybody! If you're with us, enjoy your bogas.
Tasty. It is.
So, what's today's crime about?
Okay, well, let's get started then. Okay, so now as a forward to the story, I cannot tell you how difficult it was to establish the names of all the players in this.
Okay.
Or even their particular roles, because here, when they arrest somebody, they only put their initials, their age, and their nationality.
Okay.
Which, the nationality thing is a little bit like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
So, I was just like, now, who's that? Wait, what's that guy?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I had the hardest time trying to figure out who did what and how I could refer to each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I even went so far as to find the court documents that were associated with this case or with the appeals of the sentencing. Yeah. And that was just by chance. I was just, trying to find anything on the case, and I ended up finding a
public document,
an official. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so even in those documents, the names were different. So when finally it was established who did what, after the rest of the sentencing and court, the trial and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, they only put the first name and the initial of the last name. And then, but in the court document, even that was different from what was in the newspapers. So it was just
wow.
Yeah, kind of a pain in the ass. But anyway,
I'm sorry you had to go through all that.
Yeah, it was
trouble,
terrible. It was
hon.
horrible.
My heart's with you.
So, that being said, I'm going to do my best to reveal all of the events in this story. And when it's all over, neither you or I or anybody listening is going to know who did what.
Well, that's how so many people got away with shit, isn't it?
Well, exactly. And I figure these people are probably quite dangerous. So, maybe they don't want us screwing up their story. I don't think they're going to come at us for screwing up their story if we don't actually identify them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do my best by giving you nicknames that I've established for each of them.
I'm excited. I was going to say nicknames would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So that you can keep them straight and then follow the story. So it can go in a story order. And also, in addition to this, even there wasn't a lot of news articles about it because this was like a police task force operation and they wouldn't give any details because it was an ongoing investigation.
Okay.
So that was their excuse. And one of the articles, though, I did find a Basque name, a first name.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only one. So who knows if this is really this person's name? I don't think so because it's not the same name in the court documents. So it's not. But anyway, male, young, Basque. What do you think?
Oh, I'm guessing his surname?
No, first name.
His
first name.
So Basque then.
Yeah.
Let's go for the easy one. Let's say Jon. Jon.
Jon, no.
Let's say Asier, another very
not
typical
Asier.
one. No. Oh, Iñaki.
No, I'm
That's
afraid
another.
none of those are correct.
I mean, I'm going with big hitters here.
Yeah, you are. But this one's kind of popular.
Okay.
Eneko.
Eneko, it is.
Quite popular, no? Well, anyway, I'll refer to this guy as Eneko in the story, okay? Just so we keep his character straight.
Okay.
Who he is and what he did. Okay, so let's see. So for my one sentence synopsis, before I give this, I have got this idea from another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And our lovely producer, Megan, suggested that we give a shout out to that podcast.
Yeah,
we're using kind of one of their little traits.
Yeah, in their honor.
This is from I Saw What You Did. If you like film, it's a film podcast. It's great. The hosts are charming ladies, very funny. And if you love film, you'll love this podcast.
Okay.
I Saw What You Did. Back to my one sentence synopsis of this crime. A police anti-drug task force takes down two of their own, resulting in a bust for the books. Okay, so in 2005, the Guardia Civil established a task force to combat drug trafficking in Cantabria and Vizcaya, called Operation Alepo. Okay, that has nothing to do with the Syrian city, Alepo. Okay. I don't know why they named it that, but that was the name of their operation.
Definitely sounds sexy.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Policeman.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently they did this because there was a shit ton of drugs moving around in this area. Okay. And which implied that there must be a significant drug ring, operating. So we live in Bilbao, which is in Vizcaya, and Cantabria is the next province to the west, and it's not part of Euskadi.
Yeah.
This particular case kicked off at a nightclub in Santander, Cantabria.
Just across the border.
Right. And this is why it was within the jurisdiction of the Guardia Civil. Now, Douglas, would you now like to explain the difference between Guardia Civil and Ertzaintza? Ertzaintza.
Yeah. Well, the Ertzaintza.
Every time I say Ertzaintza, I'm going to say it twice.
Slightly different. Why not? So Euskadi, as you just said, has their Ertzaintza as their quote-unquote national police. So within the Basque Country, it's their purview to investigate crime. But then also you have municipal police. So every municipality, so Bilbao will have their own municipal police. Yeah. And that's for the Basque Country. And then in a Spanish state, there's another two police forces that cover the whole of the state. And that's Guardia Civil, which is who we were talking about today. And they're definitely involved more in crime and transport and all of that stuff. And then there's also Policía Nacional, who are more like documents and then fraud and things like that.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
So yeah. Oh, so that's the short version.
The forces at work here. There was a nightclub in the outskirts of Santander called Acropolis.
Acropolis.
Doesn't that sound really fancy and
Mediterranean. It's not too
in
far from
Santander,
Alepo.
the Bay of Biscay.
It's a little bit colder than the Mediterranean, I
Yeah.
have to say. But hey, you got to be inspired by something.
Yeah. Have you ever been to this club, Douglas? Acropolis on the outskirts of Santander?
I have not, actually.
Neither.
Shockingly. I actually don't think I've ever been out in the night in Santander, just during
Me
the
neither.
day.
No, I think about it.
I did have some mixed drinks, and they were good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good prices.
Yeah, they do have better
They
prices.
do.
It's true.
Shout out Santander.
Shout out to Santander. Okay, so I looked at some pictures of this nightclub and it's pretty sketchy.
Okay.
So I can't imagine you would ever want to go there. I wouldn't want to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
look
We're
like.
painting a picture.
Yes, it doesn't look anything like Acropolis.
No. They say something about names trying to hide other things, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, so according to the court documents, there were some undercover officers watching this place near the end of September 2005.
Mhm.
More specifically, they were watching the doorman. They nicknamed him Chillon,
Okay.
which means in Castilla, Castellano,
Yeah.
Castilian, like a yeller or a squawker or
Yeah.
someone that yells a lot.
Shouter, yeller, something like that.
Yeah. Which I thought was pretty funny that they gave him that nickname. So I
It
was like trying to
sounds-
picture this guy. Like maybe they gave him that name. Just like, God, he's always yelling at people. He was the doorman, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Probably always yelling at
enters
people.
the purview of doorman, keeping people in line. So
gotta yell at him every once in a
does
while.
make sense.
Yeah. So they were interested in him because he'd been arrested on 5 previous occasions for selling drugs in, quote, quantities of a certain importance, end
Okay.
quote. So as they surveilled him and they were inquiring about him, they realized that he was, back up to his old tricks.
Oh, wow.
Chillon, so that's going to be his name in this story. Chillon.
Sounds fun.
Okay. He would consort with a variety of young people who he'd have a quick chat with, but always in very secluded areas of the car park. Then he'd go to his car where he would procure a small package for them.
Okay.
And then the people that would get the package would just leave without even entering the nightclub.
Oh, okay.
So, like, as obvious
it's
as
pretty
it could
obvious.
be.
It's pretty obvious, yeah. It sounds like they've already busted it.
I know. I was like, if you were just more, like, casual about it, it wouldn't be so obvious, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if it just looked like normal conversation. Like, if you had it set up where you just, like, they come up, they say some code word, then you guys shake hands,
Okay.
and both of the money and the...
You have to teach all your clients the code, though.
You have a message that you send out. I don't know.
You don't incriminate yourself by telling everybody.
You have a burner phone.
Okay. We'll get there one day, Jules.
Yeah, I mean, this is just how I would do it as a drug dealer. I've never dealt drugs before, so I don't know. Maybe I'd get busted pretty quick. Anyway, so so yeah, it was pretty obvious that he was a drug dealer, and so the cops decide they don't want to bust him just yet for such small quantities.
Okay.
They want to go after the bigwigs, right?
Okay.
And they suspect that Chillon would perhaps lead the way.
Okay.
So with this information, they were able to secure a wiretap on his phone. Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty. Yeah, it's very obvious information. So they're thinking there.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Yeah. So that's where they get a wiretap, and that's when all hell breaks loose. So it was through their surveillance of Chillon and analyzing the content of his phone calls that they were clued into the other players in this drug ring.
Okay.
It seems that Chillon was acquiring his stash from a man I'll be calling JJ.
Okay.
Because according to one article, his name is Juan Jose.
Okay.
And we have a friend formerly known as Juan Jose.
Yes. Shout out to Johan.
Yeah, Johan. So Johannes, no?
Oh, sorry.
It's Johannes. Oh my God, Douglas,
Too
he's
many
gonna
name
kill you, and we
changes.
know he's listening.
Yes.
So sorry, Johannes.
Love
Shout
you,
out to you.
Johannes.
So it was JJ who led the cops to the kingpin and our main player and the biggest bad boy in this story,
Okay.
who I'm going to be calling Plug.
Plug. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
His name is Plug because that's what his initials spell.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah. Okay, so he's also known as Pedro Luis, I saw, or Jose Luis in court documents. So even they're it's still
Just gonna get
sketchy.
Pedro McCanchies.
Yeah. So Plug. He's going to be Plug.
Plug.
Anyway, Plug is our most interesting character in this saga, and the reason he's earned a platform here on Crimes of the Basque Lands.
Oh,
Hold on to your chapella, Douglas.
holding on.
He was none other than an active member of the Artainsa.
Okay.
Dun dun dun. Pause for gasps.
He's in the police force.
Yes. And in addition, he was part of the anti-drug unit on the force.
Glad he's got his speciality covered. Oh my god.
Well, it's probably how he made all his connects.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, they're a different police force, so he can't be messing up this investigation, let's hope.
No, yeah, it's a complete... He's Artainsa, and this is the Guardia Civil investigating him.
Yeah.
And at some point, I think the Guardia Civil had to, kind of get into cahoots with, to inform them that, like, listen, we're watching one of your guys.
Some of the superiors, I hope. Yeah, that would make sense.
It may come as a surprise to some that someone who's been hired to protect and serve the citizens of a country or city or what have you would be breaking the law.
Oh, it does happen from time to time.
But actually, I'm not surprised because I can think of like a handful or more, just off the top of my head, of crimes committed by police.
Yeah.
Lots.
And
where you were raised, it's like practically part of the gig, right?
Yeah, Latin America.
Yeah.
I remember my family would come visiting, maybe from Scotland or US or whatever, and it's like, I remember my mom telling them, she was like, if there's a crime, I'm not sure we really want to involve the police.
Yeah,
exactly. It might be more dangerous. So
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the general attitude. Yeah,
just terrible.
It's unfortunate.
Maybe we ought to take a break now till I get to the next part of the story.
Yes, let's do
that.
Shall we? Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick break. All right, we're back.
Hello there.
Hello. Okay, so back to Plug. As I was saying, the wiretaps on Chion's phone led the police to JJ, who was Chion's supplier.
Yep.
And it was JJ who led the police to Plug.
Yes.
The context of the exchanges between JJ and Plug revolved around setting up various orders and deliveries involving goods, such as motorcycles, jackets, and wine.
Sounds very
harmless,
nice.
Right?
Yeah. We've got a romance going on here.
But the quantities that they would talk about, these different items, would be suspiciously, similar to how you would discuss like drug transactions.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, and also they kind of like kept an eye on them to see if any of these things ever appeared.
Right.
Like, was there ever an order of motorcycles or wine or jackets?
Right.
Right. So I was thinking we could try to break their code. So, for example, I thought maybe motorcycles represented speed.
Right. I'd have to see a message, but that
you know what I mean?
Makes
like
total sense.
Yeah.
There, yeah. What's a jacket then?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
It feels cokey.
Maybe something that's like
traditional.
Covers you in a haze. So maybe it's something like hash or.
Okay. Also.
Wine. Maybe wine would be hash. I don't know.
But yeah, I like where you're going.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not as inspired as you. I think you'd be living with these codes for longer than I have. But
yeah, true.
Wine.
Yeah, wine would be something like calming. Maybe it's heroin. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Heroin's calming, right?
Yeah. Well, very. I hear.
Yeah, same. Okay. So the cops knew that they were onto something, and they continued to listen in on the different conversations between these people. And then they hit the jackpot when they heard a discussion involving a quote-unquote robbery that was to take place.
Oh. That's definitely a different kind of crime.
And then this is where another member of the Artainsa played a role. Another cop.
Okay.
This fella's name is Daniel M.
Okay.
So I'm going to call him Danny Boy.
Okay.
Because he was really young. He was like 24 at the time. A little young guy.
Getting involved in bad things.
I know, so young.
And he had such a promising job
Such a promising career.
Oh my gosh. That's super well paid. It's super hard to get into Artainsa as well.
Is it? I don't know. Do you know anyone that is? Actually, Anna My friend Anna, her
My
brother is one.
My ex's
Should ask
brother
him,
is in the municipal police, but
Okay.
that was hard enough.
Was it? Like, I knew firefighters had to go, like, through rigorous physical tests.
Yeah. One of my bosses at the bar was doing, like, I think for the first 6 years, and I worked there 9, he was trying to do the test, so.
Really?
Yeah. And
he never made it?
He did eventually, yeah.
Really?
He did, yeah.
Now the real question, could he appear in the calendar?
Oh, baby, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I want to find that calendar if it exists.
Yes, there is. There's
the
the Bilbao firefighter calendar every year.
But
maybe I'll get it for you for Christmas this year. Okay, so little Danny boy, only 24, ruining his career at such a young age. So it appears it was through Danny Boy, who was a colleague of Plug, that Plug became acquainted with the chap we'll be referring to as Eneko, our Basque name.
Yes.
Eneko, okay? So Eneko was a cohort of JJ, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like the one that was tasked with like storing the stash of drugs.
Okay.
These big quantities of drugs, okay?
Okay.
So where did they stash them? In a warehouse in Arrigorriaga.
Yes.
How was my pronunciation?
Pretty good. I don't do these R's properly, so.
No? How would you say that?
I say Arrigorriaga.
Arrigorriaga.
But I can't roll my R's.
Arrigorriaga.
That sounds way more Basque. Which is not far from here.
No, yeah.
And that's in the Basque
country. It's in Vizcaya. It's near Bilbao. Yeah. So it seems that the police overheard Plug and Eneko discussing what sounded like a ploy to steal JJ's drugs. Right? But to make it appear as though it was robbed. Right? Because Eneko has access to the warehouse. No, Eneko wasn't the policeman.
Yeah, but the policemen are going to.
But the policeman is with Eneko trying to rob the drug dealer.
My gosh, they're not content in just being criminals.
No, they gotta go big. Go big or go home, as they say, right?
And then they get caught, and they're like, "No, because I'm the police. What you gonna do about it?" Oh my gosh, that is horrible. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
well, it's kind of funny. It's a little ironic. The police officer is stealing from the drug dealer.
I guess it's a good lesson in life. Don't get into crime with police people.
Right, they will fuck you over.
Yeah, they can do it.
And they know how, and they know how to get away with it, right?
Exactly, God.
So Eneko had the key, right, to the warehouse where the drugs were being stored. Yeah. And so I suppose that by going along with this robbery, he was probably going to get a payoff or get something out of it, right? Why would you do it otherwise?
That's what we assume.
Or, maybe he was coerced with violence or something. Who knows?
You never know.
You never know. It was not ever something I found in my research, so no idea.
Anybody knows, right?
Please.
Leave some comments.
Anybody knows what Eneko got out of this deal? We want to know. Well, we know that Eneko got in trouble with the cops, that's for sure, after all this came to light, right?
I would hope
so. That's what he got out of it, essentially.
Okay.
He got busted. It appears as though the only proof that he was involved at all was through these phone calls. Okay. So he wasn't like there or anything when the quote unquote robbery occurred.
Okay. He's got a minor part to play in this. So
right. But they knew that he was able to access and know where the warehouse was and all that through Eneko.
Okay.
He found that, he went to the warehouse, Plug, and I think his brother. Okay. I think I saw that somewhere, but I'm not sure. So it only came up once, and I don't think his brother ever got busted for anything. So I don't know if that's true.
Maybe he was only in the car, Julie.
Right, that's what I mean. Like they were in the car or something to transport it.
Yeah, that's what he declared. But
yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah. So now where do you think he hid these drugs? So he's got them in the car, right? He's stolen them from the warehouse. Okay. Got them in the car. Mm-hmm. Where do you think he hid them?
Like in a boot?
No, I mean like where are they taking them? To the house? To I just want you to guess, just because that's fun.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess.
If you stole a large quantity of drugs, where would you put them?
I mean, I could take it to work, but not that.
You could become the chillon, right? Make these little drug deals on the side.
Oh, right. No, because I work in a bar is the joke. And I'm a doorman, so. Yeah. Anywho's, yeah, I'm gonna guess work.
Okay, no.
But no.
Well, yes.
Oh no, because he's a policeman though.
Oh,
Okay.
right. He couldn't take it to the station.
That was my joke. I was getting my jokes mixed up.
That's true. He couldn't take it to the station with him.
We have such a thing here called lonjas. When you build houses, it's obligatory to have the first floor be businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so these businesses are not always, they don't always work as businesses. And so people just buy them to have storage or maybe a cooking club.
Or a garage for their car.
Exactly.
Sometimes, yeah.
So that's the concept of lonja. So let's say he took it to lonja.
Okay, good guess. Well, it turns out that this Artaina, which is policeman, right? Artaina.
It's Artaina.
No, Artaina is a cop.
Yes.
Artaina is the force.
Sure.
The police force,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Artaina was the proprietor of a brothel in Trapagaran.
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. I mean, it is a legal business here. So we have to preface it like that. Like it is.
Yeah, but this is a cop.
I mean, if he wasn't also selling drugs, you could say that was okay.
Sure, but I think you'd kind of be frowned on, no? Or I don't know.
Dodgy.
So he just gets better and better, doesn't he? He's a pimp and a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And a cop.
And he's freaking fucking his friends over. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, he's I hope he got more than 3 months in jail.
So I've been to Trapagaran. You know, it's that, or Trapaga as it's also known, like Valle de Trapaga.
Yeah.
Right? It's where we go
Basque.
to Arboleda.
Okay.
Haven't you gone up there?
I have.
For walks around the... Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's like old mines.
Yeah.
That are now like overgrown.
Yeah.
With like greenery or whatever. And there's like a false lake there.
Yeah. In one of the holes where they were doing the mines.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's like kind of like little caves and little like, holes or dips into the land that you can go into and walk around. It looks
like the perfect...
It's pretty cool.
It's a perfect place to film an episode of Star Trek. Sort of
weird,
okay. No?
Weird it's
rock
a foreign
outcroppings.
Planet. Yeah.
It looks very odd.
Mm-hmm. And also the whole thing is to go up there and eat beans.
It is these days.
Yeah.
They're famous for that.
Yeah. But of course, who knew there were brothels over there?
Up there too? Okay.
That's I guess they're everywhere. Well, not in Arboleda probably, but in Trapaga.
Sure, down.
So in the town.
In the valley, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, brothels are like everywhere, right? You just kind of have to know how to spot them.
They're very discreet. They're all over. Well, there used to be many in town, in just little, let's say, discreet door you'd go into.
Yeah.
But
there was one in the galleries where I worked.
Exactly. It's
and one time in class, I don't know if I ever told you this. I was in class, and so like our classroom doors kind of led to the street a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like you had to go up some stairs and then go into the classrooms. But it wasn't like an office or something that you walked into first. Mm-hmm. It's just like our classroom was right there.
Okay.
And this old man walks into my class while I was like in the middle of class teaching, and he's like, masaje?
Oh my gosh. Read the room, mister.
I know. It's like, this is clearly not a problem.
I know. Ouch.
He was mistaken. Couldn't find his brothel he was heading to.
I was going to give you some street info here, directly from the street, which I discovered over the last few years. Working as a doorman, of course, you learn those things.
Yeah.
That it's all done through apps these days. So all the actual physical places are closing down. You go to the app and then you find the girl you want and she tells you where to go. So she could be either in a discreet place like that or her apartment, exactly. Or so these businesses are a little fewer and fewer in Bilbao these days because of that.
I don't know if you'd want someone coming to your apartment though.
Yeah, the sad thing is that right in front of us, my last bar, we had basically a lonja, which was just a door. Mm-hmm. And plenty of guys walking in there. So that's pretty much what we're doing. And so basically they're saving money on setting up a bar, paying all the licenses, and salaries. I don't, it's way more under the carpet sort of.
Okay, so at the brothel was Plug's girlfriend. Her name was Flavia.
Flavia.
But
Very
in the
Latin.
court documents, she's identified as Innocentia, ironically.
Ironically, yeah.
Yeah.
So that means innocence.
Yeah, yeah.
For those non-versed in Castilian.
Mm-hmm. And Flavia, does that name seem...
It seems very Latin American. It
is.
doesn't seem very...
Can you guess the country?
Let's say Brazil.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Brazil. She was Brazilian.
There you go.
Okay, so she was like tasked with like hiding it in the refrigerator at the brothel, which according to a document, the court documents themselves, they said this is an ideal storage situation for this type of mercantile or whatever.
It is.
Because it's like cold and it will
Doesn't
preserve it. Yeah.
No smell for the dogs to pick up. Mm-hmm.
So unbeknownst to all these master criminals, the Guardia Civil were watching their every move. And it was at this time, April 2006, that they secured a search warrant for the brothel and for 4 other homes of all these people involved. So those homes were in Trapaga. Mm-hmm. I believe that our China plug had his house was in Bilbao.
Okay.
So maybe Trapaga is where the brothel warrant. That's why I have that as one of the places they searched. So
sounds like it.
Yeah. So that was the brothel. Bilbao, which is, I think, their China's home, and then a house in Berango, and then Zaramillo. I've never heard of that.
Never heard of
and Igorre.
Igorre, definitely Basque country, yeah.
They scored big. In the brothel, they found 95 kilos of speed.
That's a big fridge.
95 kilos. Yeah. And 9 of those kilos were like pure amphetamine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they hadn't
even cut it yet, or
really, fresh shipment,
just real pure. And when they searched the homes, they found MDMA, also known as Molly by the kids today.
Yeah.
X or
ecstasy. Is that what X is? Okay.
And hash, cocaine, 2 firearms, a bunch of ammunition, 2 safes.
2 safes.
Metal
doing
safes.
Business here, yeah.
And documentation, which I suppose didn't belong to the people that had the documentation. So for like forgery or fraud or purposes, probably. No? Mm-hmm. Yeah, these guys just get better and better.
It is.
So apparently the amount of speed that they found was 3 times larger than what they'd seized in the entire previous year in 2000.
Wow, we're talking here.
Yeah.
And
that was for the whole year. That was in one bus, right? That was 3 times more than what they'd taken in the year before. Let's see. So according to the news reports, there were 6 people arrested in this original takedown. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was 2 cops, Plug and Danny Boy, were the 2 cops arrested. 4 Brazilian nationals, and that's it. So 2 of those were women and 2 were men.
Okay. I mean,
so I'm not sure who the Brazilians are. No, Flavia was one of the Brazilian women, I think. So then everybody goes down, and then all the news stories kind of dry up after that, after this arrest. So that was all over the papers. But then after that, and that's what I was saying before, that like maybe the cops didn't want to talk about it because it was like
keeping it
2
quiet.
of their own. Like, oh, this is a big stain on the force.
Interesting.
And also that like this Operation Alepo was also continuing there.
Oh, well, yeah.
This
they're big shipments,
anti-drugs.
So they have to come from somewhere. I guess that makes sense.
So they were like, it's still under investigation. We don't want to talk about it. So if they don't have anything to say, you don't have anything to print. Okay, all right, so we take a break?
Let's do that.
Okay, let's take a break.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of articles after this arrest.
Yes.
Because they were keeping it hush-hush. And so the next article that I could find to this case was at the sentencing. So Eneko and Flavia both received 6 years in prison. Okay. €2 million fine. Oh, yeah, and Eneko, remember, was the guy that had the warehouse.
Yes, that had the keys.
In Arrigorriaga.
Arrigorriaga, beautiful pronunciation. The place of the red stones.
Ah, that's true. Right.
It's actually red of bloody red.
Bloody red.
I think there was a famous battle there, which is why it's called Arrigorriaga. Very, very appropriate.
That's a lovely way to name a place. Yeah, this place was so bloody at one time. Let's name it Bloody Red Rock.
Yeah, that's
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
They're very sentimental people, aren't they? The best.
I mean, it's a very colorful, explicit sort of image, isn't it? I
It
mean,
is.
I
Now I'll never think of it the same.
It's yeah, very, very crimes of the Basque Land.
Yes. Should be recording out of there. Okay, so Eneko and Flavia. Eneko was the guy that had the warehouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did the simulated robbery with Plug. Flavia, the girlfriend, the brothel.
Yes.
So they both received 6 years in prison, 2 million euros court fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot, 2 million.
Each. Wow. And
payment of half of the court costs.
Yeah, it's a weird one, this half of the court costs, but hey, what you gonna do?
Well, I mean, I guess that it's taking up the court's time, so
yeah, but like
they should pay for any. Yeah.
If they're guilty, shouldn't they just pay for the costs?
Oh, pay for the whole cost instead of half. Yeah.
I mean, they're already being fined $2 million.
I guess it is a service, though. Yeah. So Flavia also, so Eneko got it for drug trafficking, as he's the one that like gave, basically handed the drugs over to Plug by simulating this robbery, and then Flavia for drug trafficking and just being Plug's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
and associate.
An accomplice for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so then Plug, our main man, he receives 7 years in prison. 6 for drug trafficking and an extra year for good measure because he was a cop.
He's a bad cop.
So the judge was probably just
it's a nice
super
gesture.
Disappointed in him. Like, sir, you are a disgrace.
I mean, still 7 years. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it doesn't feel like a lot.
No, it's just one.
It's
just one for being a cop.
Yeah. No, I like
one
that.
Extra.
I like that. They got a bit of respect for me for giving that extra.
Yeah, like come on, man. Jesus, you have a badge.
But he still got 50% of costs. You know what I
mean?
mean?
He also got
If you're that much of a bad boy, he got
the 2 million euro fine and the half of the court cost.
I mean, what is the court cost? It's not going to be more than like.
I bet it's a lot. It's a lot of people involved. It's a lot of people.
You're not paying for all the policemen's salaries.
I think you whenever you have to have a trial, you have to. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's costs involved.
Well, I'm sure I know there's.
Actually,
costs.
I'll ask about it because I'm going to go to a trial this week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to see how it all goes down. Also asking like, so what do you think the court costs?
Chat to the guards. Yeah.
I'll just
your friend must know.
No, she would know. So I'm going to ask her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so the other 3 that were arrested were acquitted because they couldn't prove their guilt in court, and because the Guardia Civil didn't actually intervene on any of their wrongdoing.
Right.
So, they only had the evidence of their phone conversations.
Right.
So they had nothing on JJ, physically. They never busted JJ with any drugs, giving them to Chiyon, the doorman. Right? They never actually. They might have seen it, but they never intervened because they were trying to get to the big stash or something.
Okay.
And then the third one was Danny Boy, the other cop, the other China.
Yeah, and he got off.
Because he was just in a liaison between I think Eneko and Plug. Okay, so Eneko, remember Eneko, the guy that was guarding the stash at the warehouse? His defense in court was, according to only one article that I found, he was coerced into helping Plug with this fake robbery because he was terrified of him. So apparently Plug and Eneko's paths had crossed previously, which ended in a police shooting, which Eneko was injured in.
That feels very believable.
Mm-hmm. So I couldn't tell if Plug was the one that was the trigger man that shot him. Right. So maybe it was a little bit of a warning to Plug or to Eneko.
I'm scared of Plug already.
I know. I wouldn't want to run into him.
Eneko would be.
No, yeah. So it turns out that his defense didn't actually hold up in court, and he still got the 6 years. Oh. Right, he got the 6 years in prison. So Operation Alepo by the Guardia Civil was disbanded in May of 2006. So the following month after these arrests, for this bust. A total of 18 arrests. They made a total of 18 arrests.
A lot of people. Okay.
Yeah. So they seized 95 kilos of speed, 60 grams of hashish.
It's not a lot. That's probably personally.
Come on, please. It's only 60 grams.
Is it worth counting that?
Come on. Let me off with a warning. 2 200 units of psychotropic drugs, which I guess are like MDMA, probably.
All right.
Those kind of drugs are, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
226 units of anabolic steroids, cocaine, 4 high-end vehicles, weapons, money, and other effects. The seized drugs was valued at over 2 million euros. So we already know that what they took from the brothel was 95 kilos, and they estimated it would be like worth 3.5 million. So well over 2 million.
Yeah.
Right. Detailed in the news article about the dissolution of this operation was, of course, our story here about Plug and his gang, but also a bust that took place in Santurce.
Okay.
So Santurce is a city very near Bilbao.
Yeah.
Some would say considered part of
Greater
Bilbao. Bilbao. Yeah.
You know, Europe, they love their little municipalities, but we're all connected by metro.
A suburb, yeah. So in this case, in Santurce, they found 8 grams of cocaine bagged up and ready for distribution in the cash register of a bar.
Oh.
Just love that. Go into the bar, and I bet you got a little code word. I'll have 1 motorcycle, please.
Motorcycle. 1 Honda.
A Honda, yeah. Or maybe like the type of drink you ordered was what you also wanted, a cocaine.
Yeah,
on
it
the
would
side.
have to be a very odd drink.
Yeah, like maybe, yeah, what would...
nobody asks for.
Right, like a White Russian.
Perfect. I've never heard...
I don't think they've even heard of White Russians here. Like if you went to a bar and said, could I have a White Russian?
That's why it's the perfect drink to ask for.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. White Russian. How do you even say that in Castilian? Ruso Branco. That doesn't sound very
good. No sabes.
Dame un White Russian. That's way not suspect, Julie, at all. Oh my gosh.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, that was in this bar in Santurce. They had some little baggies of coke to hand out to people. Another plot they disrupted took place at a football club. So they were distributing these anabolic steroids to their players.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, trying to get ahead in the league. I didn't write it down.
Oh. But was it like a team that we know?
Like a football club.
But you
not like a big one, not like Atleti.
Oh, kind of like
a smaller, probably second league.
Something, okay.
Yeah, okay. Football team. And then finally, a hash smuggling operation into Cantabria from southern Spain, where they arrested 2 individuals who, according to this task force, had been responsible for bringing in over 1,000 kilos of hash.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
a lot, right? That's not personal.
No.
That's not personal use.
That's a lifetime.
That's a lifetime of hashish use.
That's one personal stash.
So they were bringing it in cars, but they had like double bottoms on the car. So very clever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then after all this, after this operation was dissolved, I bet they were all just like patting each other on the backs, like, well done. Good job, comrade.
Very nice.
And then, of course, whenever anything has success like that, they're all like, well, this is great. We need to funnel more money into law enforcement because look at all this good they're doing, right?
Really?
Yeah, all the time. If these things like pan out, like if they put a bunch of money into a task force and it pans out to be like they get something out of it.
Right. Yes. Okay.
They're always like, that's a great use of money, right? So let's do it again.
They were like a special task force?
Yeah, that was Operation Alepo.
Well,
but I know.
Good job, guys. Good job. Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Yeah,
well done.
I mean, that
way to get drugs out of this
guy
place.
He's better off the street. Although you're saying he's probably out already, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, you actually that brings me to the next part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's the end of Plug?
Oh, I thought so. That's where I was going.
Nope. Plug was back in the news after he was released from prison. That's right.
Did he make 7 years?
But do you think he was because he found Christ and he turned over a new leaf?
Really?
No. He didn't.
No, but I just think the justice system here is way too kind with everybody, and he'd probably get out early for whatever reason they find. I mean,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't really say if he had done his whole time. Okay, so nope, he was not a new Bible thumper and trying to spread the good word.
I mean,
on his release,
is it that good?
So in March,
Sorry,
that's to be debated. In March of 2012, he was arrested again for his involvement in an armed robbery.
Oh my gosh.
At a restaurant in the Basurto neighborhood of Bilbao.
Oh my gosh.
Near the hospital. So apparently this is a very popular restaurant, at least according to El Correo, which is the local newspaper.
It was closed.
No.
Oh?
It happened in broad daylight and like right after lunch.
Well, he's learning something.
So
oh my god.
It was like 5:30 in the afternoon, and 2 armed men walked in or entered the establishment, and there were still people eating. There were still people sitting at the like sobremesa at the tables in the restaurant. And they're finishing their lunch or whatever, having their cocktail or whatever.
That's not a well-planned robbery.
And they, and there was one server that was behind the bar who was probably like cursing and willing those people to fucking leave.
Oh,
like, come on, we want to close up. And he was approached by these gunmen. One of them went directly behind the bar and yelled, "Get down, this is a robbery." And the poor guy was probably working for peanuts, right?
Of course.
He immediately like tried to assist them by like opening the cash register. Here, take whatever you want. But then they just knocked him down, and then they like tied him up, like I think with zip ties, like zip tied his hands. They got 825 euros, and then they fled the scene. So none of the diners noticed, nor did his coworker at the restaurant. Nobody noticed this poor guy. This happened to him. So he ended up running out into the street and had to, like, with his hands tied behind his back, flag down like a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just passing by.
Oh my gosh.
So poor guy.
Yeah. This is...
So because he acted so quickly and got out so fast, he got the cops on it right away. That they ended up pulling over the van that the people were in, the 2 robbers, and then 2 people that were in the front. And who was the driver or one of the 2 people in the car? None other than Plug.
Oh my gosh. For 800 euros, this guy...
Yeah, I know. He doesn't know any other way to do it.
He's fallen, eh?
Yeah.
He was bigwig.
Yeah. And he was like in his 40s, you know, when the whole drug thing went down. So he'd probably been on the force for a long time, you know. So he had a good paying job and...
Yeah. Did he just miss retirement?
It's greedy.
Oh gosh, yeah. What can you say?
Yeah.
Well, he's got caught again.
Got caught again. And I don't know if he got... So this was what, 2012? I didn't ever see where he... That's the only article I found about this. So I don't know what his punishment was for that. And it looks like he likes to work with foreigners. Like in the first story, he was working with Brazilians. Mm-hmm. In this one, he was working with Romanians.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's the end of that.
Amazing.
Should we take a break before we do mini crime time?
Let's do that.
Okay. It's time for mini crime time. Mini crime time. Maybe we should come up with a little song for this, no? Another song. To introduce it.
Any suggestion, guys?
We're open to suggestions. Or the choir could do another hit song.
So today you have the mini crime time.
I just thought about mini crime time for this week, and I thought I'll just name a few interesting crimes that occurred in August in the Basque Country.
Oh, a list? Okay.
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay,
so these are all happening in August. So August 13th, the police located 700 kilos of marijuana by the side of the road near Muskis. Do you remember that?
I remember that, but I'm just wondering if that counts as mini. I mean, it's only marijuana. I mean, it shouldn't even be a crime.
Right?
Let's just go with that.
It's from the earth.
It's some leaves.
Yeah.
So they found some leaves on the side of the road.
Smoke it and,
mini crime time. And that was it then.
Like a neighbor, like the reason, I guess, that it got...
I remember
and they called any cops about it was that a neighbor saw a suspicious-looking van dumping cardboard boxes and garbage bags by the side of the road.
I mean, you wouldn't want any
And the
rubbish.
story I read was like, you know, I think the people who had the marijuana knew that they were about to get busted or something. Okay. So they were just like, just get rid of it. So
it wasn't a drop-off in a very illuminated area.
No, it was more like, dump it and run.
That was a fun mini crime that we read about this month.
And then on August 23rd, a young man, this is sad. A young man was driving drunk in Saya.
It's a city in the Basque
little
country.
Village. His car went off the road and hit a lamppost And this poor woman, just going about her day, was just minding her own business, walking down the sidewalk, and the lamppost fell on her and killed her.
Oh, that's not mini crime.
I know, that's pretty horrible.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Our condolences.
At the end of August, we had the Fiestas of Bilbao.
Yes.
Right?
Hasta Negucia,
which means?
Big week.
Big week, yep.
Because it's 9 days. And
that's a very big week. It's not a normal week, it's a big one.
2 weekends.
Yeah. So the new trend this year in violating women is by injecting them with a substance, like with a needle. A syringe and needle.
There's been a lot of
to inebriate them.
Around. There were even cases in Iceland.
Yeah, I guess it's a big thing right now in Europe. It's pretty fucked up.
Everywhere.
Totally fucked up. Man.
Very terrible. Although it's also true.
Like just when you think it can't get more fucked up, it gets more fucked up. Like inject with needles. Like so you could be spreading AIDS or any other hepatitis or any of these things that can be.
You have to call. And the worst thing is, and I do think this is worse. I mean, if there's somebody there trying to rape people and he's injecting people, bad. But like, there's people just imitating them.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, I saw that too in the news that a lot of them were just like trying to scare people.
Yeah, just empty syringes.
Because I said, or I found this. Mm-hmm. So like they do it at these very busy places where there's a lot of people conglomerated. So like August 20th, which was the Chupinazo.
Mm-hmm. The beginning of the fiestas.
Yeah. So the Chupinazo, what's Chupi?
Well, I'm not. I chupito bat, right? So that would be give me a shot. Give me a shot. So I think it comes from that, but I'm not entirely sure.
Why they call it chupinazo? It's like a firework that shoots off the beginning of the fiestas, right?
Yes. And then if you think like a chupito is a little shot, chupinazo is the opposite. It's not a small thing. It's a big
thing. Okay.
So it's like a big shot.
Okay.
As in, let's drink a lot. I think that's where they were going.
Ah.
But I'm not entirely sure. We should check that for
Okay.
For next time.
So basically, the first night, the fiestas on August 20th was there were
kickoff.
I think 12 cases. I didn't even write it down. Okay, so 12 reported. So that's how many people went to report it. And then and many of those cases, like you were saying, they were found no toxic substances in the people.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
Just a joke or whatever. Just to fucking freak people out. Yeah.
Yeah,
And of course, there was like a shit ton of pickpocketing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I guess there was one guy that was caught every single night.
Yeah.
Caught and released.
There was another one.
Caught and released every single night. He got caught stealing.
He was caught like 3 times at least, one guy. The same night.
On the same night, yeah.
Jesus. There's quite a few ridiculous stories this year.
Yeah.
Well, that was Crimes
of the Basque Lands. Yeah. So if you want to follow us or, give us any suggestions for other crimes, because I'll take all the help I can get.
Yeah. And as today is representative, we're not only interested in gory, bloody crimes.
No, anything that's interesting.
Yeah.
Crime-wise.
Interesting health and safety violations.
Yeah, for example. But
so did we plug our email?
No, so you can write to us. And of course you can give us like glowing reviews and everything.
Oh, that would always
And you can
help.
also, write us these like emails that are just like saccharine that just tell us how great we are if you'd like.
Oh, we'd love
that.
At
crimesofthebasquelands@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. And we have Instagram, same Crimes of the Basque Lands.
Yep.
On Instagram.
Crimes of the Basque Lands.
Thank you for listening.
Stay safe.
And stay away from cops. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean,
hopefully we don't need to call the cops.
Cops, they can come in handy. Yeah. Okay, so thank you. Bye. That's it for this week.
Bye.
Agur. 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 Crimes of the Basque Lands is written and produced by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia,
I'm Megan Dooley.
The sound and editing for each episode by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
I'm Megan Dooley.
Theme song written by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia,
I'm Megan Dooley.
Sung by the choir with no name and produced by Tom Squires. Podcast art by Distinct Signal. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Crimes of the Basque Lands and contact us at crimesofthebasquelands@gmail.com with with story ideas worldwide which have a connection to the Basque Country, or any rave reviews. If you like our podcast, please subscribe, like, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time,
Agur!